and welcome to this edition of the Quantum Experience. I am joined by Vaidehi Gawande, and Vaidehi, you are the head of quantum computing at Creed&Bear, based in Dubai. Thank you very much for joining us.
You're welcome, Matthew, and thanks for having me today.
No problem. The purpose of this series is to hopefully conjure some interest in the younger generation, and hopefully they will consider quantum computing and the adjacent technologies as a career option. So I thought the best place for us to start is to maybe do a deep dive into your background. So if you could maybe introduce yourself and give us a bit of an overview of your background, that would be a good place.
Sure, I'd be happy to do that. So I am Vaidehi Gawande, and I'm working as a head of quantum computing at Creed&Bear Dubai. And my background, actually, I majors was in computer science and engineering. So my background is majorly with computer science technology. So I'm not a quantum physicist or a quantum mechanics person overall. And earlier I was working as an assistant professor, and then I joined into quantum industry overall. So I started with SIDAC. SIDAC is a semi-government institution in India, and there I started my journey in quantum computing, thanks to Dr. Anindita Banerjee, who was my mentor back then. And I try to mention her in everywhere, because every interview or wherever I get a chance to do so, because if she was not there to support all of this, initially she was the one to start this entire process of quantum computing at SIDAC in India. And that's where I got my chance to get into the industry. And later on, I started working here with Creed&Bear. And I have like 3+ years of experience working in applied research in quantum computing. And I have like 2 patents. One is in quantum computing, which is under review at the moment, and one is in IoT, which has been granted by Government of India.
Oh, great, perfect. So I've seen a lot of movement in Dubai in this industry recently, and it's not really a place that you would, think that quantum computing is a big thing. Obviously, it's a really progressive place, but yeah. So it's really good to see that there's been a lot of movement there. So could you maybe tell us a little bit about Creed&Bear? I'm not sure how much you can tell us, but some of the activities that you have going on.
Yeah, so Creed&Bear is actually a finance industry, but we are also tech savvy. So there are, like, you can think of it like we are having 2 different verticals. So one is concentrating mostly on the finance related products, and finance related industry that is more focused over there. And the other vertical, we are more focused on research and development with respect to finance and also other sectors. So whatever we develop for finance, we are trying to use them internally as well as for some of our partners. And the research and development is not only for quantum computing, but we are also having this research and development group for AI, machine learning. So we are into different sectors over there. And as the quantum computing is having more traction in the area as well, in the UAE region, the MENA region, so we are trying to expand it for further more than finance, to energy sector, to oil and gas, to transportation, to wherever we can find the possibility to do so. And currently, I'm proud to say that me and my team, we have developed like 4 different POCs across different sectors, across finance, energy, and transport. And one more that is we are working currently is on the healthcare. So it's like a diverse, as we are expanding further, we can see different horizons that we can achieve. And that's where we are progressing now. And apparently, I feel like, as per my knowledge, apart from public domains, in private entities, as per my knowledge, I feel Creed&Bear is the only company that is providing hybrid and quantum solutions to its client. There's no other company that I can see that is in Dubai, based out of Dubai, or based out of Abu Dhabi, that are providing quantum solutions like a software solution.
Oh, that's very interesting. I mean, from what I've from what I know there's is it the VTT or the
Yeah, yeah, that is a government one. That's why I said like
yeah,
it's a private sector. We are
sure.
the only one that we are providing the hybrid solutions. Rest of them are from the public sector or from the government sector. So like Khalifa University is very much into quantum computing activities. Then TII. That is also a government entity that is also involved in many of the quantum computing activities. Like it is the major one, TII.
Oh, TII, sorry. Yeah,
Yeah.
VTT's in Europe. Oh, that's interesting. It's good to hear that the government putting investing a lot of money in this, though.
Yes.
Is it a big strategy for them?
Yes, of course, because
Yeah.
quantum computing is
Yeah, it'd
like
be
the
foolish
new
not
wave
to.
that
Yeah.
will come together. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. So I just want to take you back to something that you mentioned in your introduction. So you mentioned, was it? I'm really sorry. I forget the name. It was Professor Banerjee, I think you said, or Dr.
Yes,
Banerjee.
Anindita Banerjee. Yes.
Yes. So what was your very first exposure to maybe quantum technology or quantum physics?
That's actually quite interesting because it started even before I joined SIDAC. So, in my journey, particularly started in 2016. So, when there was the first news related to quantum computing and quantum computers overall, and how it is having the capability to break the RSA encryption. So, that actually caught my eye. And back then, there was not many. I do remember there was just 5 qubit cloud service that was provided by IBM, and there were very few handful of lectures that were available by Dr. Vadim Makarov. I mean, I personally went through all of these lectures, and studying all of them, these lectures, then my interest into quantum cryptography grew. But back then in India, we didn't had much exposure, whatever was in the different state where I was not having access to. So whatever material I had, I started my journey from there. So I was basically like a self-taught person.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why I try to learn on the fly. Like whatever is required, I try to go through the concepts in the depth, and then I try to learn then and apply it in my work. So it's like even today I'm learning. I'm not like
Yeah.
yeah, and I feel that is something that is required to get further in whichever area you are. You have to learn what is needed at that moment itself. And for quantum physics, and in 2021 actually, we had this first project at SIDAC Pune, where I started with my where I started my work with Dr. Anindita Banerjee, and she was the first one who was working in quantum communications. Even now, she is having extensive amount of work in quantum communications.
Yeah, I obviously speak to a lot of people in the industry, and they do say that keeping up with the latest publications
Yeah,
or technology or whatever, it's a pretty important part of the job, and it probably goes under the radar a little bit about
yeah.
it's actually a big chunk of your vocation, I guess. But yeah, no, that's interesting. That actually brings me on nicely to my next question. So you can answer this however you like, really. It's sort of interpreted differently by everyone. But are there any mistakes that you made, maybe early in your career, or maybe even very recently, that was a big learning experience for you?
Yes, yes, of course. Everyone makes mistakes as humans, right? And we get to know them a bit later. So I won't say I regret them, but because I learned from them, so they have turned into a good experience, which I can share with others as well. So in terms of quantum computing, particularly, what happens is we feel that because quantum physics and quantum mechanics are way too intimidated. Okay, it's difficult to understand. I do agree with this thing that it is difficult, but it's not like you have to understand each and every concept of quantum physics or mechanics. Since, as I have told earlier, that I'm from computer science background, still I was able to do my work because, of course, I tried to cope up with the existing technologies and try to learn the concepts which are there. If you are aware of quantum physics and mechanics, that's great. If you're not aware, start where you are. Okay, you don't have to wait for the day when you feel like, okay, now I'm completely prepared, and then enter into some projects or try for some internships. Just get into the internships with whatever basics you have, and you learn on the fly. I feel that's where I started my journey a bit late in quantum computing. Otherwise, I think I would have started it way ahead, or like way before.
Yeah, it's interesting that that's probably quite an important hurdle, is just to recognize that you're going to make
Yeah,
mistakes. So just
because
don't,
many of
you know.
yeah, many of the time it happens like we feel we try. It's the only one person that keeps you from the success, and that is you yourself. So you won't let yourself go into the industry or in the mainstream and try your knowledge, try out whatever you know, right? So
Yeah.
that's when I feel that's the greatest obstacle that you have to overcome, and try to feel that, okay, whatever I know, I have to implement it. If not, I'll learn and come back again.
Yeah. So is that something that you still is that still a mentality that you have today, in terms of, you mentioned that
Yes.
you're pushing into new territories, so healthcare,
Yes.
oil and gas, and transport. You
Yes,
may not
exactly.
know everything about that industry, but you still just
Yes.
learn on the
No
fly.
one knows
Okay.
it all. It's all about like you have to talk to different people, try to understand what their requirement is, and try to see what all existing technologies or methodologies that you have that you can implement or try to fit them together. It's like a jigsaw puzzle, you just have to fit them together in the best way possible to get the best outcome possible. And that's how I try to get into different horizons as well.